And no pioneers, there's M, J, KK, 613.14. Coming back at you again. Bye. Unofficial, through my eyes, the way I see it. Um, I want to put out I don't mean to insult anybody, rub anybody the wrong way, come across like an ass, but I know I do. Um, Especially when it comes to pi, and when it comes to pi value between being a currency and being an asset. Yeah, I get a little outspoken, a little testy, a little emotional. I know I do that, and it's because of the potential I see in pi, the passion I have for pi, and just the amount of time I've spent in pi. It all kind of comes together. It all comes together at the head, and right now we're to a point we're getting short. We're getting on what, I don't know what the date is today, but 60. We're gonna be what, 70 days out or something like that. I mean that's to the end of December. I mean, who knows? Quarter has left that window open, so it could happen any time between now and December, which means we're getting short. And where my frustration or my opinion, my whole attitude, everything comes in, it becomes because I know we're under that pressure restraint. I mean, we're getting down, and it also comes from, as a community, we haven't delivered what we were supposed to when we were supposed to do it. So now we've come down to the crunch time. Now this is my opinion, the way I see it, because if you really stop and look at, if you step away from anything you know and just look at pi and where we're at in the community right now, and don't put all this, just leave that outside for a bit, and look at pi where we're at. Look at pi, those that have been here, look at pi 2 years ago when the in-app transfer pilot started. Okay. Now, that started in December of 2019. We're coming up on almost 2 years of that pilot should have been. I mean, there are people, pilots, pi pioneers, that can actually transfer pi. And it's been happening since 2019. And when the in-app transfer came about, it just showed, the community kind of showed a lot of things. But, I mean, we've grown way past that. To remember back then, I mean, a lot of people don't even know the in-app transfer pilot is going on. Okay? Because what's transpired through that is what happened, how they branched out, everything became unofficial, and because it's unofficial, we can't talk about it in chat. Because Core knows what's going on. Core knows it's been going on since the in-app transfer started. They know all the stuff going on. Okay. But because they're not sponsoring behind what's going on, it's unofficial. Doesn't mean it's not going on. And it doesn't mean that there hasn't been infighting, backbiting, and all that stuff going on with it. But it's going on. And the pilots that were chosen, there were 300 of them, I believe. Now, as far as I know, they haven't added any more, but they possibly could have back in the early days. So it could be over 300, but it's around 300 pioneers that have the feature to be able to transfer pi. Now, we can't sell it, and that's been the issue from the jump. We can't sell pi. Legally, we have no pi to sell. Legally, we have no pi to trade for any cash. It's considered a fraud. Yeah. Yeah. That's a different issue. Because people, with crypto, the way it's become and how it trades and that's all anybody's after. They want to take pi and turn it into cash. They want to take pi and turn it into some other money. That's not pi's goal. Pi's goal is to be the money. And unless you see it as the money, you don't know how to deal with it the way it should be dealt with. Okay? Because the difference between money, a currency, and a tradable asset or a commodity is different. They're built different. They're designed different. They do different things. And because the space has only become a tradable commodity or asset. It's like the United States Stock Exchange, U.S. Stock Exchange. The crypto exchange and the stock exchange are exactly the same thing, trading in different vehicles, different entities, different whatever. Okay, the stock market trades in stocks in companies to raise capital. The crypto exchange trades in digital asset to raise capital. They're the same. The only difference is crypto exchange, trading on the crypto exchange is like trading on the stock market on steroids. It's volatile, it's fast, it's quick, and if you're not on top of it, if you're on top of it, you can make a lot of money, and if you're not on top of it, you can lose a lot of money. That's the avenue, the vehicle, what it has become. Okay? What's different between the stock market, the U.S. stock market, and the crypto exchange is the stock market also trades in commodities. The difference between an asset and a commodity is an asset is, I'm going to say tangible, it's there. It's not going away. It's not disposable. A commodity is something that is here for a little bit and gone, disposable. Fruits, vegetables, animal, livestock, that kind of stuff. Anything we use up is a commodity. Anything we don't use up is an asset. Crypto it's just an asset. They have it security. They have it classified security and commodity or whatever for regulatory reasons. But basically, crypto, you don't use it up. It's a form of digital money, it's digital currency, but the terminology cryptocurrency is wrong, because it's not acting as a currency. Yes, people are accepting it. There's other locations that's doing it, whatever, but it's not really acting like money. Not on the scale of it. It's trading. Where people are making their money is off of crypto trading, not buying and selling of goods. No. They're making it off of trading it. Well, if you look at the space, there is no economy around any of the crypto tokens and coins around now. There is no real ecosystem with an economy around it that the exchange is trading inside of it. If you look at out here in the real world, but if you look out here in the real world, what we use, and I can only speak for the United States, but it happens everywhere. Okay. We go to work, we do whatever we do, and we get a paycheck in U.S. dollars. We go to work, we get something. Trading on the exchanges, we take the dollars that we earn outside and invest it into a company. Whatever company, there's thousands of companies that have stock listings. The traders on the New York Stock Exchange do exactly the same thing that the crypto traders are doing. Basically their job is the same, except these guys are they get the flow a little bit because it's a little more stable. The crypto exchange, no, you got to be on top of it, and I think that's also fueled the cycle that's going on now, okay? And that's what draws people's attention. Because you can become a millionaire overnight, or you can become living under a bridge overnight. Most of the people go grab onto becoming a millionaire overnight, but there are a lot of them that are living under a bridge too. Okay? So with that going on, okay, here you have the stock exchange. But see, us, because we go to work, we get our money. The percentage of people that are actually investing and trading on the stock exchange per capita is a drop in the bucket. It's a drop in the bucket. Yes, we may have 401ks and we may have investments like whatever, but trading on the exchange like it's being traded on the crypto exchange, no, it's a drop in the bucket. Now the crypto exchange is just a drop in the bucket over the whole. The crypto exchange is part of the U.S. economy. Yeah, because we're using dollars. It's trading in dollars. It's part of the bigger economy, the bigger ecosystem. Yeah, because that the amount of people, and like I said, I'm just going off the United States, but it's around the world. The amount of people in the United States that go to work and they make U.S. dollars somehow, some way, whether begging, stealing, working hamburger joint, working whatever, all the way up to the top CEOs of companies. Yeah, but we get dollars coming in. Out of those dollars coming in, we figure out a budget or whatever on what we get. Some of it goes to daily needs, living expenses, whatever it is, just to get by day to day. Then, if you're fortunate enough, you got a little extra, then you have a little bit of entertainment money. You have a little bit of whatever. You can go to the movies, go do whatever, you got a little bit extra. And if you're at the top, you can pretty much do what you want, You can buy all the toys and cars and all of that, wherever you're at on the structure. But it's taking U.S. dollars to buy those things. That's economy. And, I know a lot of you guys got to know how an economy works. What drives it, what fuels it, okay? But you see, everybody seems so focused on the crypto exchange. Pi is a crypto, it's going to do with the exchange. No, that's not what Pi is designed for. Pi is designed to be the money in the economy. Okay? So, if you look at the overall picture, the big picture, okay? If the stock market, and it fluctuates, and if whatever is going on in the stock market doesn't affect the value, the buying power value of the dollar bill. There's other factors that affect that. But the stock market, no. If the dollar crashes, the stock market's going to crash. If the stock market crashes, the dollar's still going to stay relatively stable. It's probably going to lose a little bit because, but price follows value. Price follows value. If the value of the dollar is going up or down, that's how much you have to buy on the stock exchange, up and down. And if the dollar goes up, you can buy more. If the dollar goes down, you can buy less. The dollar is the economy. The dollar is the money. And I hear so many different excuses or whatever, it's not backed, it doesn't have this, that, and the other. When it's the money, it doesn't need to be. Because the money is the money. The money is the money. The economy is the strength of that money. Pi is looking to be the money. Us using it gives it the strength. There are other things that create value for it, but I'll see what we do. Okay. So you have the U.S. economy. We go to work, we get a paycheck, however, we get it off welfare, we do it, whatever. We get dollars coming in to our pocket. Then we need daily living expenses. We go get what we get groceries, gas, go to the doctor's office, whatever it takes to survive. Just our needs, our day in, day out needs. We meet those first. Survival instinct. If you're lacking in one of those areas, one of those basic areas, that's going to be your focus, and that's going to be what you figure out how to get first. When all those basic needs are taken care of, then becomes the wants. And then they get crossed up, and I get them crossed up too. But it's the daily needs that start to drive the economy, because you're going to spend it. If you're hungry and you need food, you're going to go buy it. Not think about it. You're just going to go buy it. Now, looking at prices and stuff like that, shop around there. You need a house, you need cars, we need cars, we need certain things, whatever our basic need. Shelter, power, food, and water. That's pretty much basic. Once those are met, then everything else is fair game. Okay? So, just think about it. We're talking millions of people paying electric bills, paying water bills, paying garbage bills, paying house, mortgages, paying all that. That is what drives the economy. Us spending our dollars. Us spending our dollars drives the economy. Now, the more we spend, the more we move. You know, you start getting into bigger ticket items and whatever. You got the government is regulating. We got to pay taxes and all this other garbage. That is the economy. The stock market isn't driving that. The stock market isn't driving it. It's the people who are driving it. We drive it. When, you know, I mean, because the dollar is the gold reserve. I mean, the reserve currency. Everything is pegged to the dollar. And something else to think about is the dollar crashes, so is everything else going to crash around it. Anything that's pegged to it. If the dollar crashes, everything that's pegged to it crashes too. Yeah, we'll get. Let's see if I can get touch on that. Okay, so but everything is pegged to the dollar, and because of the Federal Reserve and all this other things, crooked bastards. The inflation and deflation that occurs in the dollar is controlled by us. We control inflation and deflation. It's not on the government. They're just trying to smooth it and control the ups and downs. And how they do that is through raising and lowering interest rates. To this point, it's getting way. I mean, it's way out of hand right now. There's more. Yeah, no. The economy right now, the U.S. economy, is in deep. I mean, because everybody's been out of work and they've been sending stimulus checks and also no, the U.S. economy is in deep. I'm talking about before COVID and all this other stuff yet. Where on kind of like a regular day or whatever. Inflation and deflation is controlled by us. The amount. It used to be the amount we were spending, and that's kind of changed. But I'm going to leave it to a cash system. When we're spending money, when we're buying stuff, drives the economy up. Because the more we're spending, the stronger the economy is getting, the more, the more we're moving money, the lower the interest rates. No, the more we're moving money, the higher the interest rates. Because so it's inflating. They raise the interest rates to slow our spending down. So when we're spending, there's too much money in circulation. So they have to slow that circulation down. They do it by raising interest rates. When they raise interest rates, backs our spending down. And then when we're not moving enough, they lower the interest rate because they want to get more money into the economy, into the ecosystem. That's what inflation and deflation is. It has to do with us. We are and most people, if they realized it, and we kind of got together and said, hey, we could actually affect it. Yeah. Because all the rich people at the top, the 1 or 2% at the top, are 1 or 2%. So there are a lot of people, I'm not saying it's not a lot, but the proportion of the people at the top and the people at the bottom that gap is separating. I mean, it's getting wider and wider. We at the bottom are the majority. And I don't want to get into the power and whatever, but we don't understand we are the majority. And the majority, we have the least amount of money. Most of us are living paycheck to paycheck, or not even paycheck to paycheck. Where up at the top, they don't even think about it. They just go do it, whatever it is. And I understand people are wanting to get up there, but people don't also understand up there don't want us up there. They're going to, especially, man, we're getting taxed so hard right now that probably almost 30, 40, 45, 50% of our paycheck goes to the government. Why do you think that is? So we can't get there. Now there are a few that work their way out and do whatever, and the crypto industry has closed out a little bit. But it still comes down to the majority of the people hold the least amount of cash. But in the overall, well, I don't know, because things are getting really nuts. By all rights, we should be the overall money supply, And I know it stretches out on the global and gets kind of tweaky over there, when we start looking at that. I'm just looking at home. The majority of the people hold the least amount of cash, but as a whole, hold the majority of the currency. Yeah. But as long as we're focused on what they want us to focus on, as long as we're fighting to do what we need to, what we think we need to do, divide and conquer, keep us separated. That's what COVID, social distancing and all that, is keeping us from getting together. Because it's getting to a point that I hope people wake up. Because I came off the tail end of the 60s. Putting the two time frames together, if what was going on now was going on back then, you'd see a whole lot more different stuff on the news. You would see people gather. You would see people protesting. Because they didn't like what was going on. They didn't like what was going on in the war. They didn't like what was going on in the economy. They didn't like what was going on. And they stood up and gathered in numbers and made their presence known. When the truckers got pissed, they shut Washington D.C. down. They shut the whole city down because all those truckers came to one location at one time and shut all the streets down because they weren't happy about something. Yes, we have protests and we have stuff that goes on, but not like back. It was just different mentality, different responsibility, different outlook, different whatever. Today, the government is afraid of. Why this is my opinion, I'm interjecting and whatever. The government doesn't want us to assemble like we did back then. Because one, there's more of us now than there was back then. And the stakes for whatever's going on are high. People are playing for keeps. People were dying back then, but not anything like today. The government does not want us to assemble. Because if we assemble, we can change things. If we can assemble, that's what. And they've taken it down to the basic. When you can't go to church, you can't go to church because of social distancing. No, that's the government stepping in and taking more of our stuff away, taking more of our rights, taking more of ours, and we're freely giving it to them. So there's a lot of drives from my. Okay, so if we're looking at it, we're looking at it from that perspective. That is a perspective that we need to view on pi. It's a currency. The majority of the people hold the least amount, but hold the majority of the coin. And because the United States and the size that it is, us at the bottom really don't affect a whole lot. Well, one, because we haven't organized in a big enough group to overtake the 1%, which we possibly very well could. But because of whatever laws, there's a lot more social stuff that plays into that, what's going on. But looking at it from a currency, it's us at the bottom that if we're not spending money or whatever, if money's not moving, the economy's not moving. If the economy's not moving, we're in deep. And that's what happened right now. That's why all these stimulus checks are coming out. Because they want to get that economy restarted. Because there's not enough going on. Interest rates are almost zero. If interest rates go to zero or below, I would bail. I would get all your money out of the bank as soon as you can. Because if interest rates go the other way, when interest rates are on the upside, we're being paid. We're getting the interest of somebody borrowing our money. If interest rates go to zero, we're paying somebody to borrow our money. And it opens up the door to the government for a whole lot of different stuff. At that point, the government can seize what's in the bank. Whatever you have in the bank, they can seize what you have in the bank. Yeah. Whether you believe it or not, don't take my word for it, just watch it happen. So they're sending out all these. Where are all these stimulus checks going? They're going to the people. Because they need the people to move the money. When the money's moving, the economy starts coming back, things will, okay? And there's a lot that plays into what goes on in the world today because everything is off of a bubble. It's all off of getting rich quick now. And that's what crypto, That's the niche that crypto filled. That was issued. That's what crypto is filled. Crypto is filled the spot of being able, in the means, being able to obtain fast, big money. That's what I mean. If you listen to the traders and you listen to, that's what all they're talking. They're talking about profit. But one guy cracked me up. I was watching one of these traders or whatever, and his opening deal was they're not. It had something to do with the dollar that crypto is breaking away from the dollar. Crypto is doing its own and getting away from and so trading crypto has nothing to do with the dollar. The next sentence was he got into his predictions of and now he's predicting this is going to this crypto is going to be worth this many dollars. Well, that's a contradiction because cryptos are trading the asset for dollars. They're pegging it to the dollar. I mean, one Bitcoin, I don't know, what is it now, 40,000 something like that? 35, 40, 45,000? One Bitcoin, $40,000. Don't tell me, I don't want to hear that I got the price off of it because I don't care. That's not the point I'm trying to make. One Bitcoin is worth $40,000. That's what people see. One coin, $40,000. That's pegged to the dollar. Now what happens if you got this one Bitcoin and you're counting on it. You're counting on it. One, spending it, you're going to have to break it up so you don't have one Bitcoin anymore. And to use a little piece of a $40,000 coin, yeah, that's why they got to go out 10 places. Now instead of 1 point something, you got point something on it. Okay. So to spend it on everyday items and small items, and most of the cryptos are that way. They're not really feasible for everyday transactions. They're too volatile for everyday transactions. They're not stable enough for everyday transactions. And because of the amount they can change very quick, makes it unfeasible to use as a medium of exchange, as payment. Because one side or the other is either going to be losing money or gaining money because of the volatility. You buy something and the coin goes up. You're buying something, and the coin raises. You just gave more for that item than you should have. Because the coin raised, you increased the profit on his side, their side. Because the value of the coin or the price of the coin went up. That means if he turns around and sells it, he's going to get more for that coin than what you gave him originally. You think you're going to get that money back? No. But if it goes the other way, you buy something from somebody, and the price of the coin goes down, they're going to expect you to pay more because you didn't give enough for the item that you bought. Yeah, that's why crypto, the way it's stands, is hard to use because it's not reliable. You can't trust it. And people that think that that's how business is done, you need to wake up, man. No, these companies have been around for 100 years, 200 years, whatever it is. These companies that have staying power they've lasted. And when their first stock came out, it was, and now if you had stock back then, bought stock back then, and were still alive and whatever, and just held on to it, you'd be up in that 1%. Because that's what stocks do. Stocks, and over time, they just continually raise. Crypto is up and down. 1 minute, and just look back at some of the history on some of the, like Bitcoin and others, I'm sure. There were people, when Bitcoin finally hit the stage and people figured out how to make money out of it, there were overnight millionaires made. But if they didn't do it, there were overnight broke ass people at the same time. There were as many people losing money as there was gaining money. But that's how crypto is, and that's how it's played. And over time and everything and all the hype and everything around it, that's what people hear. That's what people see. That's what people believe. And there are so many traders on the internet and all this other stuff that, yeah. When I first got here, I was in that same boat. Yeah, that's how crypto operates. Until we had an enlightenment in Pi. Yeah, the community of 100,000 people were exactly where everybody is now. Exactly the same thinking, lining up the same way, doing the same thing, getting ready to do the same thing. No, we were there. But when the in-app transfer pilot started, and it didn't happen the way we thought it was, we hit an enlightenment. A lot of us did. Because it woke us up to what Pi was. Now, we've learned over time, but we woke up to what Pi is. Pi is looking to be the money, the currency. So go back to the United States model. Pi is not looking to be at the stock exchange. It's not looking to be at the stock exchange level. It's looking to be the next. It's looking to be the next level up. There's a issue in cryptocurrency. Core and Pi have found the solution to that issue. The solution to the issue is there is no economy. There is no substantial tradable economy. Look it up and see. No, trading on the exchange. I know there's millions of dollars trading hands or whatever, but it's not an economy. It's not an economy. Each coin is individual. Each coin is individual. With nothing supporting it or behind it or backing it or nothing. It's got the dollar. It's trading for the dollar. And the dollar is what's supporting it and propping it up. And what else is behind it? It's just like fake currency. There's nothing backing it. There's nothing behind it. Nothing supporting it. Nothing. But what gives it value? Well, it's a blockchain. It's a blockchain. It's all this. That's where the value is coming from. That's the blockchain. All right. Pi's got one of those. Yeah. Plus, you can do some other stuff that these other ones can't. Okay. There's no where Bitcoin gets its economy and Monroe gets their economy. Where their economy truly is down on the dark web. That's their economies. Because down on the dark web, even though they're trading, some of the business, most of the business is probably on the shady side. That if you were doing it up here, if you were doing it above ground, most likely would land you in jail or prison. Okay? I mean, yeah, I don't want to get into it because that's not where I'm trying to go. But that's Bitcoin. When it first came out, there was a need. And an entrepreneur saw the solution. That's how Silk Road first came around. Now, I credit him for being an entrepreneur and seeing the solution. I don't credit him for the stuff that he did. He's where he needs to be. Okay. But he saw the solution and he made it work. Okay. That's where Monroe and Bitcoin economy are. True. I mean, if you want to look at an economy for either one of those coins, that's where it is. But people don't look at it because it's just a small drop in the bucket to the overall what's going on. But that's the economy. Buying and selling of goods and services. That's the problem that Pi and Core have identified, and they've created a solution to it. And with the mentality of the community and the people around, because you're not seeing Pi as the currency. You're not seeing Pi as the money. You're seeing Pi as a tradable instrument to get money. And what is money? Money is to buy goods and services. I mean, that's what we don't trade something. I mean, we don't trade cryptocurrency. We're trading it for dollars or whatever country you're in, your currency. That's what you're trading whatever crypto is for. So I'm going to trade a Bitcoin. I'm going to get $40,000. And I got $40,000. Now what am I going to do with it? I'm either going to reinvest it into something, or I'm going to pay off my house, or I'm going to pay off my kids' college education. I'm going to pay medical. I'm going to pay something. I'm going to use the money that I got selling a Bitcoin to buy something else, to use it for something else, a good or a service. a good or a service. So, if Bitcoin were the money, why couldn't you have taken Bitcoin and bought the same thing you did with that $40,000? Because it's not accepted. Why? Well, it's not trusted, it's not whatever. There's a whole line of things to it. Well, if that's the case, then Bitcoin's not the money. The money is the dollar bill. The money is what you traded the Bitcoin for. So you could buy and pay for something that's accepted, used, accepted, trusted. Okay? So, I know people have pie projections 10 years down the road, and we're not. We're just getting started. We are just getting started. So, with all this stuff going on, crypto to this point, how crypto gets to the public and how it gets to the market, how it gets to whatever, okay, is by most of them are by some initial coin offering, some initial capitalization for that coin. Means they do a coin offering to get dollar bills to support the project or to support the coin. You know, everybody's talking about liquidity. Yes, on the exchange, these coins you need liquidity because they're just too unstable, too whatever. And if some bad deal goes down, somebody is responsible. Being regulated, somebody is responsible for the loss. Usually comes down to the exchange being responsible because they are the ones dealing with the transactions. Well, if they don't have enough money in their bank account to cover the loss of this coin, they go under. So they make sure they have enough money from the coin, from the creators, from the whatever, to cover the amount of coin that they have in their exchanges trading on it. So if something happens, they have the cash to cover it. That's where the liquidity is needed. That's where, for capitalization is funding the project, making sure the project has enough money to go where it wants to go, to get to the end, to continue to develop, do whatever. They need money to do that. Capitalization. So when these coins run initial capitalization, initial coin offering, they're looking for investors. They are looking for investors. They need investors because they need the money coming in, and for that they give coin. That's it in a nutshell. That's it in a nutshell. The creator of the project puts X amount of coin, or gives X amount of coin to the exchange, or offers up. Anymore, you have to go through the exchange because there's too much scams going on. So the creator of the project offers up X amount of coin. They do all the hype and whatever it is, and they have the day they have a sale, and everybody comes in and they're buying, and that's because we're in this dilemma of price. And I did some research and got back in and looked at the exchanges and whatever. Okay, once a coin is up and trading, once the coin is up and moving, coin market cap formula works because you have two sides. You have the two sides of the equation. You can put them in, and it's just math. Put the numbers in the equation, spits out at the other end. When there are no numbers to put into the formula to spit out the other end, they're speculating. They're guessing. Best guess. And they usually run 3 coin offerings when they're establishing trading price. They'll set a price. They will set a price. I don't know who they is, whether it's between the exchange and the creators or whatever. They set a price 3 times. The first time they do their coin offering, and they see how the public reaction is, and how the sales went on the coin. If sales went good, next one they bump up a little bit. If sales bad, next one they bump down. And then they run another one, and they see what the reaction is. And if it goes up, they bump it up, down. Then they run the third one. And when they run the third one, they compile those 3. And that gives them price. Because you need price for coin market cap calculation. You need circulating supply, and price. And you put those numbers in the formula in the computer, kicks out a price. Exchange price. That's not value. That's trading. and I don't want to get confused by trading for goods and services with trading with on the exchange. It's two different things. But it kicks out the price, and then supply and demand comes in. It depends on how many coins that are on the market, how many people are looking to sell their coins, how many people are looking to buy coins, what's on the market, and whatever. It's circulating supply. They don't even look at total supply. It's all circulating. It all comes off of circulating supply. Check it out. Yeah. Check it out. It all comes off circulating. But that controls what the price. That's no different than the stock market. Trading volume. The more trading volume you have, the more people are looking to buy, creates demand. The more the price goes up. The more people are selling, the less demand there is, the more the price goes up. The supply and demand is on price. Supply and demand isn't on value, it's on price. As it always has been. It always has been. So that's the arena that crypto is in. That's not the arena that Pi is looking to play. Pi does not want to. It's not because it's designed to do something different. Because that's all a crypto exchange is. It's just trading. There is not a whole lot more to it. Just trading. Basically that's what you got is trading. Yes, little offshoots here and there that you might be able to do whatever. But the majority of all crypto is trading on the exchanges. Making dollar bills off the exchange. That's what crypto has become. And that's what's killing us right now. Because that's all people understand. That's all people see. That's all. Yeah, they don't. I mean, I bet you most of them, if you did one of these polls and went around the street with a microphone and asked people what is money, they couldn't tell you. They couldn't tell you what money is. I mean, they'll tell you what they think money is. And I've been under that. A little while ago, you have. Oh, I lost it. Intrinsic value and market cap price. When you take those two formulas, they are two different formulas, and they take take different sets of numbers to come up with different deals at the end. Okay? And when somebody threw out an intrinsic value, and it threw me for a loop because I had a different wrong impression. I mean, I had a different understanding of what I thought intrinsic value was. It was off, but it was close. Okay? Because intrinsic value is what is being built, what is created, what core is built, what intrinsic value is the overall package. It's blockchain gives it value. You've got a platform where you can trade for goods and services. Value. dApps, value. Community of 25 million plus people, value. Okay? That's where Pi, the value for Pi is there. The value for Pi is there. Whatever value we put on it. We don't have to look to somebody else to tell us what that value is. That's what happens on the exchange. The exchange tells you what that price is. I mean, the creator and whatever on that initial, they figured out what it is. Core is giving us the opportunity. I mean, most people don't realize and understand the opportunity that Core is handing us, giving it to us. Why would they do that? Why would they do that? Because they know. They already know. They already know. If Pi succeeds, they already know the benefit to everybody in the community. And the next step forward in society and mankind, humanity. That's how big Pi is. And nobody sees it. Nobody cares to see it. Nobody believes it. But that's how big Pi is. And we're on the verge of that right now. Believe it or not. Believe it or not, that is the verge we are on right now. We have 60 days to figure it out and come to an agreement and acceptance to make it happen. That's why I get pissed. That's why I get upset. Because we've had 2 years. We've had 2 years to reach this point right here. And we got 60 days, and we ain't nowhere closer today than we were 2 years ago, except for one thing. And people won't pay attention to it because they're all tweets about for whatever reason, they're not happy with that's why I get pissed and fired up. Man, I respect a lot of people. I respect everybody in here. I really do. But I lose respect for you when you can't see, when you won't see, when you won't wake up and you won't look. Man, I lose respect for you hard. I do. Because all that talent, all that engineering, all that, okay, you're stuck. You're stuck in a bubble. And the bubble's right here. And there's a whole lot bigger world out here, man. And it's going to take all of us to do it. And that's where I get upset. Because I know what, bring it on. I am totally out of touch. I am in the, I've been smoking some wacky stuff and I have no clue about reality. I don't know what's going on. Shit, I'm just detached from everything and I'm just making up my own shit. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Yeah. And you're blind as a fucking bat. Because right now, where we stand right now, and what we do from here will determine on whether PI succeeds or fails, and whether if it fails, you guys have done it twice. You did it at Bitcoin, and you'll do it at this one. So society and humanity may not be ready for what Core is offering. May not be ready. It isn't. It's our loss, man. It's our loss. It'd be sad. It's sad, but it's our loss. Our loss. And the ones that know it, the ones that know what, okay, if it goes one way, if it goes the wrong way, I just sit here and shake my head and say, well, it's no different than what you guys are giving up already. I mean, man, once you're sheep, you're sheep. I guess once you're sheep, you can't come back to being a sheep. Because I'm looking back when I grew up, and I'm looking at today. I don't have the same rights as I had back then. I don't have the same buying powers in the dollar bill as I had back then. And I have no control over what happens in my life due to politicians, society, whatever. No. Because you guys are giving my stuff up. And this doesn't apply. But whoever is giving up our rights, and I'm going to use COVID as an example. Not the fact that it's a virus. The fact that what we gave up during it. We lost our jobs. Some of us lost our homes. We've lost our cars or whatever it is. Can't pay bills. We have bill collectors all over our ass. And we can't assemble. We just gave it up. They said we couldn't do it. We did. Said we couldn't go to work. We did. You just tell me that isn't giving stuff up? You know? If you stay looking at setting a value or a price on PI from the exchanges, PI will not succeed. It can't. There's no way. Because all of us know, it's been talked about for 2 years. It's been talked about. PI, when PI goes to the exchange, if PI goes to the exchange and it gets a price, if it gets a price first, which most of you think that it's supposed to do, because that's how crypto works. That's how crypto works. PI is not a crypto. PI is not a crypto. It's a digital. Crypto, digital. There's a difference. Okay? You don't hear any government talking about digital projects that they have rolling out. It's crypto. You hear them? Digital. And they're doing the same thing. Most of them are using the same blockchains off of something. Okay? There's a difference between digital and crypto. Crypto is, okay? And most of you think that PI is supposed to go to the exchange, get it at exchange price, start trading that way, and then create value. You've already given it up. You've already given it up. Yeah. And it's too late. Because even with the if PI goes to the exchange first, and it gets the value, PI's circulating supply is too big. It's too big. I will agree with you. It's too big. That with the size of the supply, the size of the community, and whatever, and you put it in whatever it is, I would be lucky. I would think it would be lucky if it were above a dime. I'm thinking closer to below, about a nickel, maybe even below. Just because of how exchanges calculate price. It will be under a dime. If it goes to the exchange first, it will be under a dime. I guarantee it. Because all these speculators are speculating on numbers that aren't real. When PI goes live and those numbers become real, those speculations become real. and those speculations have it down low. Okay? And now let's play the scenario out. It does that. We're on the exchange. We are on the exchange trading. On the exchange trading. And because new people that don't have a clue, don't know anything, they've listened to this for the same amount of time I have, and I've been trying to combat it the whole time. They will do exactly what you conditioned them to do. They will dump whatever little pie they got. But here's where the issue is. There is no pie out on the market until we put it there. So, and people don't realize it came out at a dime, and none of the community wanted to put anything out there for a dime. Buyers on the other side, they have nothing to buy. They have nothing to buy. If we don't put it out there, they have nothing to buy. Core is not putting any coin in the exchange. So the exchange has no coin to start with. The only place that has coin is us. But at a dime, it really doesn't matter because we'll never gain back what we need to. And there will be people who will be dumb enough. There will be people dumb enough that have enough pie to be able to trade on the exchange. And, you talk to a lot of these whales. Yes, a lot of these whales have a big amount of coin or whatever. They don't care. They'll just get rid of it. Well, screw them too. Because they're not thinking about pie. They're only thinking about themselves. But most of those people are going to be on the other side buying. If they can get pie for a dime, they're going to buy. I don't care how much pie they have, they're going to buy. They're just, because when whales get that big, and if they've had enough time to get their finances right, they just want to get bigger. They just want to get bigger. Because they're also businessmen. Okay? Now, if they've been following whatever, they know we've screwed up. So yes, they know we've screwed up. They will probably dump whatever they can and get whatever they can out of it. Because they're on a sinking ship. They know it. Okay? Because they know pie won't reach its goal. Starting at a dime. Under $1, under $2. Pie won't survive. It can't. Because being at a dime with, 26, 27 million people, okay, at a dime, you've just cut out probably 20 million people being able to trade on the exchange. Maybe. Oh, it'll be up there. It'll be above 17 or 18 million people that won't be able to do anything with the pie they have. Nothing. They won't be able to trade it. Can't sell anywhere. Okay? And, yeah, I can hear all this peer-to-peer. Yeah, that's not a smart move. It's not a smart move. There's nothing to guarantee that deal is going to happen. I can make a deal with you. You send me cash. Screw you, I send you pie. Okay? That's the mentality going on in pie. If you want to do it, do it. I mean, at this point, I'm probably gone. I will tell you that. I'm probably gone. Because did it again. Anyway. Now, yeah, trading will happen, do whatever, but you won't be able to buy any goods or services. And you just killed, at least, whatever, with the economies are going, you just wiped out all those economies that have been struggling to go 2 years out, starting pie economy that wasn't even paid attention to. That wasn't even looked at. They've done all the hard work. And that's what they have done all the hard work for almost 2 years. And there are values out there that we should be starting at. We should be debating over what that value should be. We shouldn't be debating whether it's going to go to the exchange or whatever. Yeah. Nobody has looked at the almost 2 years of progress because whatever bad rap or whatever they're thinking about the exchanges. No. Now there are economies that have started out there that I don't know whether they were on the up and up the whole time come through. I don't know whether they'll make it through. You have their accounts on it. I don't know. That's going to be a fiasco and a mess in itself. But from the ones I know that started from the in-app transfer pilot, they're legit. They've stayed. They know what the cost is. If they step out of line, they know what the cost is. Okay? They know and these guys, ladies and gentlemen, have been in it for almost 2 years. They have a lot invested in those economies. They don't want to lose what they have invested in those economies. Hell no. So those are on the up and up. Okay? It's not even been part of the conversation. And I've tried to not even been part. So if it goes to the exchange, we will never get, if we start an exchange price, we will never get the value the pie needs to be successful, to be what it should be. It won't, because you've already given up too much. Now, let's flip it over. And I know, and maybe I painted it a little darker than what it is. No, that's as dark as it is. It's cut and dry. It's cut and dry. Pencil it out on the paper. It's cut and dry. That's because as soon as you go an exchange price, the majority of people in pie have the least amount of pie, and at the rate we're earning pie, they're only going to have under 10 pie, maybe 20 at the outside. That's up in the pack. New people coming in aren't even going to have that. Okay, that's not even taken into account. When you guys are crunching your numbers and doing all, you're not looking at pie. You're not looking at the community. You're not looking at what the community needs. You're looking at what you already know, and it's wrong. It's wrong, man. Because where pie value needs to be is where the last group of people coming in, and I know this is real simple and it takes out all the other stuff that needs to complicate, but this is the simplicity of it. The last group of people coming in have to be able to use their pie. I don't care whether they have one pie, half pie, whatever. The day they join pie, and I believe when you join, you can still get one pie from whoever invited you. So they get one pie joining pie. They have one pie joining pie. Yes, right now, you can't do anything because okay? I'm talking about once we're live. When we go live, they need to be able to use that one pie that they get. The minute they join pie, they need to be able to use that pie. They need to be able to use that pie to buy something they need. And not get wiped out. You have one pie, you have X value on it, $10. One pie at $10 probably can't buy. They might be able to buy something they need, but it'll wipe them out. It'll wipe them out. And you can't, because they're the ones that drive the economy. They're the ones that it's up to them what the rest of us do. Believe it or not, man, because they are the majority of pie holding the least amount of pie. If they don't want to spend their pie, if they don't want to use their pie, then the economy doesn't move. And if the economy doesn't move, you can't count on whales to move it. Pie is too big. When you're looking at crypto, yes, a whale can influence price because the communities are small. So, when 1 or 2% of the community holds 90-something% of the coin, whales can influence. Whales can't influence pie because it's too big. It's meant that way. So, you can't count on whales to step up for the rest of the community. It's not going to happen. Because they're also smart enough to know that if the value is too low, or if the price is too low, I have to give more pie to get that same item. I'm not doing that. No, because the ball's been dropped. I'm not picking it up because somebody else dropped it. No. So, the majority of people with the least amount of pie need to be able to use their pie to buy something they need, and they want to be able to use it. That means the value has to be high enough that they can buy something they need, That one pie, you got a 5-gallon bucket of rice for $20. They need to be able to get $20 out of that one pie to buy that 5 gallons of rice. Yes. Whatever it is, I'm just grabbing that in. Because at that point, they can buy that 5 gallon of rice. They can feed their family for a while. And still have a little bit of pie left over that they can use tomorrow. And they're going to get a little bit of pie coming in that night. So they're recovering what they spent. They have pie. They don't have to worry about the pie coming in because they have a little bit of pie left. They can go to bed tonight. They can eat tonight, be cool, go to bed tonight and sleep, and not have to worry about eating tomorrow. That's where the value of pie needs to be. It's not where I want it to be. It's not where, because my needs are different than somebody else. But the majority of the world is to somebody else. They need to have the value of that pie. For pie to be a success, and pie to do what it's supposed to do, they need to be able to do what they need to do. Because now you take a community of 25 million plus people that want to use Pi. They want to spend Pi. They're willing to spend Pi. That drives the economy. That drives the economy. And the more people are willing to spend, looking to spend, doing whatever spending, the more the currency, the money, Pi is moving, the stronger it gets. The stronger it gets. If we get an economy started, at that point, there is nobody that can stop Pi, ever. And we have taken control back of our own finances, of part of our own personal freedoms. We have taken it back because they don't control the money. We do. We control our own money. Yeah. I know we still live in today's society, and we still live in today's world, and we still got to do, okay. But here's, I hear people, well, you got to be able to replace goods, and how can they replace goods? Okay. We go to the exchange price. We're getting 2 cents. We're getting 2 cents a pie. How are you going to 2 cents a pie? How are you going to replace goods? Man, you won't even have the clientele coming in your shop to be able to replace it. You won't have to worry about replacing goods because you ain't going to be able to sell any. Stop with the excuses. How can you open a business when pie's at 2 cents? The majority of it can't even come to your shop, and the bigger ones they're not going to spend the thousands of pie to buy something like that. They're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. No. They may dump it for the cash, but they're not going to come into your store and spend it. You're not going to have any traffic. You're not going to have to worry about replacing goods. Going this way, even though it's point whatever to, at $100 a pie, it takes it down onto the right of the decimal point on transactions, which is not bad. It's not a bad thing, because at that you have clientele. You're selling your stuff and your shop is okay. Even though it's 0.2 whatever it is, the exchange, because people will not sell. If Pi is getting $100 buying power value and they can use it and want to use it, whatever, they are not going to sell for a penny or 2 pennies or a dime or a nickel. They're going to demand the 100. And by this time, if they haven't grown up and seen what's going on, and they want to sell it for whatever, let them sell for whatever, because it's not going to matter anymore. Because we're going to outweigh what's going to happen over there. If we don't put it over there, exchange price, it won't even take long for the exchange price to come up. Because we control the supply. Demand is already automatically created. Demand is already automatically created. If demand is created and we have the supply, and we don't want to let go of our supply, that demand is going to get higher. Supply and demand. I'm just putting you guys' words. There's no pie on the market. There's no pie to exchange unless we put it there. We control the supply. Supply, demand. And when people see what Pi's doing and what Pi can do, the demand will be there. And when people can't get what they want, that demand gets greater. Yeah. That's what I know. I'm out of touch. I have no clue what I'm talking about. I don't understand the damn thing. That I just pulled this out of my ass and just started talking. Yeah. Okay. Read the white paper. Nothing that I have said right here now about Pi, either way, that you can't find in the white paper. Even if you have to read between the lines, it's in the white paper. It's in the FAQ. I have not said anything that isn't already written. All I am is a mouthpiece. Okay? What you do with the information is on you. I just hope in this short time that we have left that we make the right decision, make the right call, and put Pi on the right path that it should be. Because, man, you don't understand how big Pi is. You really don't. You really don't. And I don't know whether it's fear. It might be fear of Pi doing something that something else didn't do. That could be a possibility too. Because everything is in competition with Bitcoin. If you can't measure up to Bitcoin, then you're not worth a shit. Yeah. You can see it in the attitude. You can see it in the whatever. All these projects have their purists. And I am a Pi purist. I will tell you that straight up. I ain't gonna hide it. I am. And I'm protective of Pi. Okay. Pi is not looking to compete with anybody. Pi is just looking to take the next step in the evolution of digital currency. Pi is looking to be a player in the world that's almost, it's just about here. Once the dollar crashes, the rest of the world is going to go digital. It's not down my mind. It's one way for them to wipe out all the cash. to make the cash obsolete. They're doing it with, I mean, they're still sending checks, but if you're gonna change something that you've been using for hundreds of years, okay, hundreds of years, you have to break that trust of people, because people are trusting it, they're relying on it, they're using it, they've been used for hundreds of years. How are you gonna crash I mean, we're to a point that whatever is probably salvageable enough that if they crash the dollar, they could probably step in and keep it afloat long enough to get something else implemented and get money back flowing again. The money that's going to come back flowing is going to be digital. Probably just looking to be a player in that world. That's all. But the way the government, the way they're going to do it, is going to maintain control for them. And a big part of it is going to be us relying on them because they're sending out all these stimulus checks and stuff. I mean, look at, if you know anybody that's on welfare, and I'm not putting down welfare people there, if you know anybody that's on welfare, that has been on welfare for generations, they expect their welfare check like a paycheck. They feel entitled and expect a government check on a certain date, just like a paycheck. And if that check doesn't come in, they get twisted. Like they didn't get paid for something they didn't do. And that's dependent on the system. And with the government sending out these stimulus checks, I don't know how many is it already? 4, 5, 6 maybe? That they sent out checks? It's making people dependent on them. Crash the system. People are dependent on them already, are looking for you get rid of the system that you have. Crisis. You gotta have a crisis to get rid of. You gotta get a crisis to get rid of the old to bring in the new one. And the easiest way to get rid of the paper in circulation is crash it. Make it worth nothing. But they have to protect what they have so they can bring something back to go out. I mean, writing's on the wall. Anyway, I know I got off subject and I got talking to this one late again. I mean, man, I've been trying to get my stuff down shorter. I really have. But there's no way. I mean, with the information, yes, and I'm still looking to try to edit, because then I can break them down. I can split them up into 2s or 3s or whatever it is. But right now I can't, and I'm on it. Can't do it. So this is what we're stuck with for now, because the thought, you have to think the whole me. This is how I work. I mean, how my mind works. I have to think it from start to finish. I have to look at as much as I can. I got to take in as much as I can to come up with an educated guess or opinion. It's how I form my opinions. And whatever. But to try to put that, if anybody knows me from writing and nerd, yeah, I would write books. I had a guy. I was in senior chat, and the discussion that was going on wasn't bad. I mean, it wasn't bad compared to some of them we have. I mean, all the texts were in the window. So the conversation I was having with these people was drawn to a close, and I don't know, all I can think of was a kid that came in, and he goes, "Oh, too much stuff to read up there. There's too much stuff whatever. But screw it, I'm not doing it." Okay. It struck me as odd, because that is what the mentality is of the people coming in the pie. If they can't read one line, or they don't get to see 5 minutes, or they don't get to, it's not worth it to them, they won't do it. Well, life isn't built like that. Life is being built like, but life isn't built like that. It's a little more complicated than that. So, this is where I'm at. And I hope all I'm trying to do is get people to think, open up, look at things different. Look at it from different angles. I think what I've seen over the time of it is critical thinking. People have lost the ability to critically think. Yeah. Critical thinking is, you take, I go back to a scene from The Godfather, when, I forget who, Michael was talking to somebody, one of his guys, and he was telling about one lesson, the biggest lesson he learned from his father was to think like others, because in that circle, whatever it is, all of the people that his the mafia, the group, whatever, are all businessmen. By being all businessmen, and he's like, the way he put it was, there's nothing that isn't possible or capable, because you put people thinking and doing whatever, they will figure out whatever angle and whatever it is. That's critical thinking. That's the level of thinking. That you got to take in as much information as you can, get it from all sides, good, bad, or indifferent, to come up with self-position. But, and that's how I roll, man. So, we got what we got. I hope it helped. I'm just trying to help. Just trying to, like I say, just trying to help and get people to see. And we are. If you don't think we are in a critical time frame, you're wrong. Because, one more and I'm shut down. Because I was going to bring this up earlier. When the in-app transfer pilot started, 2 years ago, the pilots, the chosen pilots, were set a job, a task to do. That's why they were chosen to be pilots, because we figured they could fulfill the task at hand. And I think some took it right, some took it wrong, some didn't know, some, okay. And what their task was, or what their job was. Pie's not free. We have to earn pie, believe it or not. And I wish people would see it, because then they would value it. But the pilots were chosen. They were given the availability to be able to transfer pie, to start pie economies. And I think because of the difference in thinking, the difference in how to approach it, the difference, just the diversification, even with people were on different pages. And because of that, different economies broke out, because they were going about it different ways. And over time, like I said, the pilot got shut down, which was one of the big ones. Because if the pilot would have stayed running from the time it launched, I mean, it is running, but if it would have, I think I'm going to plan. If the in-app transfer pilot would have gone off without people doing something they shouldn't do, being stupid. If everybody would have been on the same page where nobody had to worry about somebody trying to sell pie, the in-app transfer pilot would have scaled to the in-app transfer. It would have scaled as the community scaled. By scaling it that way, it was the smart way to go. It was the only real, true way to go to get us to this point. Because if you look at how it would have scaled, now you have to look at everything. Because, yes, it was small. And with 25 million people, we were still just about as small as we were when we started. But if it would have scaled as the community scaled, pie wouldn't look the way it is today. There would be shops, there would be people selling stuff, there would be people using pie. Because as the community scaled, the in-app transfer would have scaled, the amount of businesses and locations and stuff that here would have scaled. People coming in would have been looking at the exchange, because we couldn't have gone there, would have salted into the economy. We would have, and this is another reason I get a little upset. 2 years. If we would have done what we should have done, what we were supposed to do 2 years ago, we wouldn't be having this conversation. Because there was only one way to set a value back then. I mean, there were other ways to set it. But to get where it needs to be, there's only one way to do it. There was only one economy that did it. And they're getting hassled over it. They've gotten tagged for a long time. But all they did was they cut out all the middlemen. They cut out all of the middle garbage that goes on to get to this point. They just cut to the chase. Because they knew the time, they knew the amount of time that they had. They knew the time. No, we don't have time to go through all of this. Okay? And all they did was cut to the chase. That's the only thing they did. It's the only thing they did. And if you would have taken, even if it would have evolved the way it was going, the way the process was going, if it would have evolved and scaled at the same time, we wouldn't have, KYC wouldn't be an issue, phone verification wouldn't be an issue, all the stuff that are issues still today would have been resolved. Because at that time I think we were, I don't know, somewhere between, I'm going to say 250,000, 500,000 people. The app would have caught up. Core would have caught up. People would have been to where, like today, we would have been caught up. There's not a doubt in my mind that the community would have been caught up and everybody would have been in the economy. Would have been, we would have been transferring pie right now. We would have been buying stuff with pie right now. Man, it didn't go that way. Okay, and then the community would have been caught up. So new people coming in, all they would have to do is go through the process and been in the community. That we'd have gotten rid of all the garbage, all the bad accounts, fake accounts, all the stuff that is holding pie back would have been gone. All of the thinking process of putting pie on the exchange would have been gone. It wouldn't be here because it couldn't. Because at that time it couldn't go to the exchange. There was no, because it wasn't live. We were still in testnet. We were still in beta. We were doing all this in beta, but when it was making it happen, it was doing it, it was going. And all the other stuff that's holding pie back would have been eliminated. Anybody that would have come in here doing some of the stuff that people come in trying to do now wouldn't have come in. They wouldn't have gotten into the community. That's what I get. Because we've lost. We have lost. I know. I don't. This is my opinion, and this is the way I see it, and this is the way I see it sort of played out. I don't care what court says that no, that wasn't supposed to be that way. It wasn't supposed to be that way. I don't care what anybody else tells me it wasn't supposed to be that way. I'm gonna tell you, you're full of shit. It was supposed to go that way. Yeah. Because if you look at where it started, where we would have been, none of these conversations would have been going on because they'd have been different. They would have been different. They would have been more positive on how to draw business into the industry, how to get businesses into the community, how to figure out how to get vendors into the community. The conversations would have been different. Would have been different. So when core got to this point, we would have been to that point. All they would have had to do is tie the two together. Whatever they have to do in the back end is tie it together. And it would have been one. And we just shot it to the public. Yeah. Yeah. But because it didn't go that way, core had to refigure a game plan to get to it. So that's what I say. It's on us. Whether pie succeeds or fails, it's on us. And if we as a community, and whichever way it's going to go, it's going to go. Whichever way it's going to go, it's going to go. And if it goes the wrong way, there's nothing else you can say. There's nothing else that can be said because it went the wrong way. Yeah. Yeah. And till that day happens, you are going to hear me. You're going to hear me screaming loud. Because I'm going to do everything I can to keep it from going the wrong direction. Guaranteed. Like I said, I don't care whether you believe me or not. You're going to hear me. You're going to hear me until when that final bell rings, then we'll see. But up until that point, no. You're going to hear me. So, all right, guys, I'm out. I know I'm a little fired up and gone over again or whatever. But you know me. All right. Guys, have a good one.